One of Michigan's favorite activities and something you can do all across the Great Lakes state is go out on our many waterways and go fishing. But sometimes it's best to put aside the fishing for fish and instead fish for trash. Joining us now to talk about that is Tom Nardone. He is the founder of Trash Fishing, joining us on today's Megacast. Tom, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So interesting thing you've come up with. It is a new sport, and it's not fishing. It's trash fishing. It's a different kind of fishing altogether. Tell us about trash fishing, what it is, and how you came up with this idea.
Well, first, I'll tell you what it is, and I have to give credit for the idea to my son. It was actually his idea. So, trash fishing is fishing for trash. We go out on the waterways, and instead of comparing how many crappie or bass you catch, we grab trash out of the waterways. And unlike a fishing trip, which might lead you a limit of like 5 or 6 pieces, we can bring in hundreds and hundreds of pieces of trash. Some giant things, some little things. So that's basically what it is. You take your fishing boat out and you go gather trash. And it was invented by my son. I run another group called the Detroit Mower Gang, where we mow parks and clean up trash in the Detroit parks, abandoned parks and playgrounds. And he was coming out with us, and he was too young to ride the lawn tractors and stuff. So he was mainly picking up trash with the grabbers. And I think he saw one of those videos with like the turtle with the straw sticking out of its nose, and he was like, Dad, we need to save the turtles. We need to take trash out of the ocean. It's like, well, we live in Michigan, kid. So there's really not a lot of ocean. So instead, we bought a very small, like a Zodiac boat, and we went out in the Detroit River, and very quickly filled the boat with trash. So we figured we were onto something.
So, what ultimately is the goal of trash fishing? Obviously, you want to bring in as much trash as possible, clean up these waterways, but considering how much littering there is, how dirty up our local waterways or state waterways are, can trash fishing really move that needle forward?
Yeah, actually, the waterways are a lot cleaner than you think. Like when I tell people from other parts of the country that we're out on the Detroit River, I think they think of Detroit as maybe a dirty place. And so the Detroit River must be a dirty place. But the waterway is really clean. Like we'll see large stretches of it with no trash. But it's our goal is to make it really fun, a fun adventure. Trash fishing is really fun, actually. You never know what you're going to find. You find all this weird stuff, and you kind of never know where you're going to find it. It ends up being a little bit like deer hunting, where deer hunters will sort of use a plan, and regular fishermen will use a plan to figure out where the fish might be. We do the same thing with the trash. Like you can look at a satellite map and say, okay, the river flows this way, and there's this island with a cove facing this way, and the river's coming this way. So I bet you some trash collects in there. And then you drive your boat out there, and sure enough, you might find what we call a honey hole, which is a fishing term for a place with a lot of fish. That would, for us, would be a place with a lot of trash. So, yeah, so it's fun to go out and explore. We keep our boats in, there's mainly three guys that do it, 3 or 4 guys that do it. And so 3 boats. And we keep them down in Wyandotte, and we'll go all the way up to Belle Isle sometimes, and then all the way down to Lake Erie. And just, it depends on the weather. If the weather's great, we'll go for a ride. And if the weather's cruddy, then we'll stay close.
So when you go out fishing, you take some bait and some tackle, maybe different bait for different fish that you're aiming to catch. But there's no way you're baiting in the trash when you're out there trash fishing. So what sort of tools are you using to collect the trash out in the waterways?
Sure. I wish I had a couple to show you, but there's nothing. Well, the first thing we're going to do is to take water bottles, because it's probably no surprise to you that the number one thing we pull out of the water are water bottles. So you won't see anyone that's ever come out with us drink bottled water again. It's disgusting how many water bottles we will pull out of our waterways. Hundreds and hundreds of them an hour. It's unbelievable. But the tools of the trade are a few things. One is a grabber, like a trash grabber. They make these things. You buy them at Home Depot. They're used for picking up, I don't know, anything really. People in wheelchairs sometimes use them to reach your grabber. And everybody has their sort of favorite. Just like fishing rods, everybody has a fishing rod they like. In this case, everybody has sort of a grabber. Like I like the one made by Unger. It's $17. So it's an investment. And then the other thing is sometimes you'll come upon like a cove where there's some stagnant water and you'll see bits of micro pieces of styrofoam and things and bottle caps floating. And they're just all out there, just a blanket of trash. And, you just can't get each one with a grabber. So I have a lacrosse goalie net. And I bought it at Play Again Sports. I had like a 50% off coupon. And I showed up when this thing one day I spent $15 on it. And I tell you what, you can swipe that thing and you can pull in like mounds of styrofoam and stuff like that at a time. My buddy Charlie has the paint roller, right? The tool that has like it goes like this.
Yeah.
Like that. That you put the roller on. Well, he has one of those where it's just the metal part. It looks like a big hook. Like it looks like a dental pick, but man-sized. And he has it on an extended pole, like one of those ones you use to paint a really tall wall.
Sure.
And he can stand on the front of the boat, and if the shore is real rocky, he can pull the trash off of a rocky shore with that. So that's Charlie. He's a real creative guy with the techniques and that sort of stuff.
This is really interesting to put this effort forward and then just the methods you use to go about it. If you want to learn more, trashfishing.com is their website, trashfishing.com, to learn more information and to get involved. So typically, Tom, when you go out on one of these waterways with all your different tools and creative different ways and receptacles for collecting this trash, what is typically a good haul when you go out there? For people that are fishing, they think, okay, I catch a few of these fish and I've had a good day out on the water. For you, and when you're trash fishing, what defines that?
Sure. Well, I went out 2 days this weekend. It was a great weekend for trash fishing. It wasn't too hot. It was sunny. So my daughter and I went out, and they opened the Canadian border. So we went over to the Canadian shore. So for 2.5 years, we haven't been able to fish half of our trash fishing grounds. So we went over to this place called Fighting Island, and we filled our boat. We have a 17-foot boat. We filled our boat with trash. So I don't know how many cubic feet or cubic yards that is, but that's a lot of trash. And so usually we weigh things like when a lot of our trash fishing events are contests, like fishing contests, and we do who can bring the most weight, the biggest piece of trash, and the most unusual piece of trash. So yesterday I went out with the boys, and we had found on the Rouge River, we had found a mound of shingles someone had dumped on the shore. And they were like, the next rainstorm, they were going to get swept away into the water. So we went out there, and we estimate that we pulled 2,000 pounds of trash off of the shore of the Rouge yesterday. We had 3 tires with wheels. We had buckets and buckets of shingles, and then just bags and bags of debris. So that's a big day. A ton, that's a ton, We do a fundraiser every year. We try to raise $1 for every pound of trash we're going to pull. But I'd say in general, we pull about 6,000 or 7,000 pounds of trash, and we only spend about $3,000 a year to do it. So
we're joined by Tom Nardone. He is the founder of Trash Fishing, joining us on today's edition of the Megacast. More information can be found on trashfishing.com, trashfishing.com. And Tom, I was thinking about this. After you haul all this trash in each of these sessions, where does it end up? Where do you take it? Because the last thing you want is to have people like you and others that trash fish with you to go out there, collect all this trash. It gets hauled off somewhere and it ends up blowing back into these waterways.
Right. Sure. Well, one thing is, unfortunately, all of it's so dirty it can't be recycled. Like you can't take a filthy water bottle. Once it's been in the waterways, it's not recyclable anymore. In fact, you do more damage to the recycling stream by trying to recycle it than you would not. But we are really thankful. The city of Ecorse, there's an Ecorse boat launch. So there's a boat launch in Ecorse, and they have a dumpster there. So we dock at the boat launch and we run all the stuff to the dumpster. So it's a great service by the city of Ecorse. I don't even know if they know that they're supporting us, but they must see the trash, being delivered there. So that's a great thing. Once in a great while, the e-course dumpster will be overflowing or it won't be there for some reason, in which case we just throw it in our trucks and I bring it to my work dumpster here in Troy. But usually the city of e-course takes it.
And for those that want to get into trash fishing, but they also, want to have some friendly competition, you do occasionally have events where you turn trash fishing into a sport. Tell us about
Right.
those and how people can participate.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Almost every time we go out, it's a contest and it's free. In fact, we have grabbers. We use these reusable trash bags that drain really well and they can carry anything. They're actually recycled from machine shops. They used to hold like steel billets and things. So really heavy duty stuff. We'll lend you all the gear you're going to need. You just need a fishing boat. And you find out about these things on our Facebook page. We run about 8 contests a year. They're free, they're fun. Unlike fishing, where you have to get up early in the morning to catch the fish or go late at night, the trash is there no matter what. So we go out at like 1 p.m. So you can sleep in, your kids, your teenagers can sleep in. You can come out with us. And we have we do a fundraiser. I mentioned we have a fundraiser once a year, and those funds go to pay for us to get tacos afterwards.
Ooh.
So not only is it free to join, not only will we give you the gear you need, we make sure the trash is hauled away, and we'll feed you afterwards.
Facebook.com/trash fishing to join the community and participate in some of those events, or you can go to their website at trashfishing.com to learn more. Trashfishing.com for all the information you need to know on this really fascinating effort being put on by Tom and his family and his friends, as well as they're going out on our waterways all throughout our local area and working to clean them up. Tom, anything else we should know about trash fishing at this time? We have a couple more minutes with you.
No, it's just I really want to stress that it's fun. It's an adventure. It feels very much like a Tom Sawyer type of thing to do. You never know what you're going to see. Like yesterday, we were out on the Rouge. We went up to the area because we had seen this pile of shingles a week prior. A week prior, we pulled a hot tub out of the Rouge River. There was a hot tub out there just floating away, waiting to be, basically bang into rocks until it turned into microplastics that our fish will eat and will end up in our stomachs. So there's just all sorts of stuff. So yesterday we found 3 spare tires. I don't know how they get into the river. 2 of them were matching. So someone lost 2 tires from their trailer or something. I have no idea how that works. Other times we found a safe. We found U.S. Coast Guard beacon. We found giant dams that are used when you refill freighters. It's just the amount of stuff, the construction barrels, the fire extinguishers. I had no idea bowling balls could float. We found kids, like those 6-pound bowling balls, the light ones for kids. Apparently that's light enough to float because we found one on the shore of the river. It's always an adventure. I don't think I've ever gone out once and thought we didn't find anything new this time.
You can experience the adventure yourself. Trashfishing.com or Facebook.com/trashfishing for more. Tom, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.